So first up this evening is SavePoint Interactive. They're using today's technology to solve an ages-old problem by providing a unique product to those who want to leave behind an interactive legacy. Please welcome CEO Glenn Paquette to the stage.
Thank you very much for the introduction. So actually, we're going to start today with a quick question. Please raise your hand if you've experienced the death of a loved one. Keep your hand raised. Come on, keep it up. All right. So keep your hand raised if you have questions you wish you would have asked them before they passed. How about if you wanted to hear their voice one more time? Thank you. So, as humans, that's perfectly natural. We not only want to remember those we love, but we also want people to remember us. And therefore, we've developed several ways to leave a record of ourselves behind. We've developed memoirs, we write letters, we've even started to record video. But all of these solutions lack something. They lack the personality, the humor, the spirit, that essence of a person that is so indescribable. They also lack interaction. I'm here today to tell you that we are no longer limited by yesterday's traditions. My name is Glenn Paquette, and I've decided to launch SavePoint Interactive to give us a digital legacy that our families can communicate with long after we're gone. With today's modern technologies, we have the ability to leave behind interactive digital legacy pieces. I call them digital imprints. And SavePoint's first product is called Remember. Remember is a digital legacy interactive software suite. It allows us to record digital imprints of our loved ones and communicate with them interactively. It would basically be a lot like communicating with Apple Siri or Amazon Alexa. With simple questions and prompts, you can access the messages, the memories, the advice, the reassurances of your loved ones. Let me give you an example. About 13 years ago, my grandmother passed away. Now, my grandmother made delicious blueberry pies. And as a fan of these blueberry pies, I really wish I can get the recipe and bake one now. But if we had the technology then to record an imprint, it would be as simple as turning to my Remember app and saying, "Hey, Mamere, how did you make those blueberry pies?" The app would then find the appropriate audio of my grandmother reciting that recipe and play it back for me. So in other words, if we had this technology 13 years ago, I could be in my kitchen today baking a pie with my grandmother's voice guiding me. But imprints can be more than just recipes. They can be messages, they can be stories, they can be part of your family history. Really, the only limitation is the imagination of the client. And it all starts with audio. The SavePoint staff starts by guiding our clients on recording the appropriate audio for the application. We then take those audio recordings and we map them out to a natural language algorithm. So they connect to the right questions and prompts. We then package that up into a customized individual end user application so that our loved ones and friends can interact with that imprint in their own unique way. And they can do that through their phone, through their computer, even through those home automation devices like Google Home or Amazon Alexa. This product makes money in 3 different ways. We have Remember Premium, which is a service that we provide, Remember Self-Serve, which is an application, and the Remember End User application as well. The Remember Premium service is a white glove service that we offer where we send a SavePoint staff member to the client's preferred location. And we bring high-end audio equipment so that we can guide them through the recording process. This service costs $1,800, but includes 5 hours of recording time and 2 years of prepaid access for 3 end users. As a more affordable alternative, we're developing the Remember Self-Serve application. This allows clients to create their own imprints and map it out to the algorithm on their own using only a mobile device. This software costs $6.99 a month, and it would be a much more affordable service than the Remember Premium. The Remember End User application is $3.99 per month, and it's what the end user uses, which is our friends or family. They use that to communicate with the imprint of their loved ones. Now, that $3.99 per month is usually prepaid through those that are recording the imprints. For this technology, we've identified several markets so far. We have the legacy and end-of-life industry, patients of Alzheimer and dementia, heritage and culture, as well as advanced care planning. As a starting point, SafePoint has decided to focus on the legacy and end-of-life sector with the Remember product. In US, Canada, and the UK, we have a combined total of 3.2 million deaths in 2017 alone. About 75% of those deaths were not immediate, which means that SafePoint would have been an option for these people before they died. But those are just English-speaking countries in the Western world. What about the rest of the world? Well, our technology already understands 15 of the world's top languages. That means with very little development, we can scale this product for a worldwide release. That worldwide market is on average 54.8 million deaths per year, and out of those deaths, 36.5 million are due to age-related causes alone. As far as projections, we're projecting a loss of $200,000 in the first year and a small profit of $30,000 in year 2. In year 3, we see the establishment of our market at $700,000. And this is basically the first 2 years we're establishing the company, we're expanding into new territory, and we're getting that self-serve application underway. In year 3, you really see all those different activities coming in to settle in the market and get some traction. Our go-to-market plan starts with the Remember Premium application. The premium service is able to generate revenue fairly quickly and can therefore help us fund the development of the self-serve app, which is fairly complex. We also want to expand in key urban areas quickly in order to provide our services to a wider audience. It also will help us establish our brand and will help us set the bar pretty high for the quality of service of these products. We also want to build strategic partnerships with frontline workers. We want to partner with nursing homes, with deaf doulas, palliative caregivers, estate planners, doctors, hospices. All of these people deal with our ideal clients on a day-to-day basis. There are not only points for referrals, they can also provide us with valuable feedback on how our products impact their patients, their clients, and their families. We've identified several competitors so far, but you'll see that most of them have a focus on video and timed release messages. Our focus on interactivity means that we will create a deeper, richer experience for our users, and that'll really set us apart in this market. Once we've secured our funds, we will start building out a developer team and a service team. We want to start in year 1 having this service going right away. As we expand to new territories and our staff starts to grow, I'll be bringing in additional leadership positions to help manage this growing team. We've been very lucky so far to have several advisors help us along the way, the key of which has been Joy Werda at the Dragonfly Advisory Services. She is a unique position where she deals not only with people transitioning in the deaf, but with those grieving families as well. And she has been able to help us understand that there is in fact a need in this market for this product, and that her clients would be glad to not only try the service, but pay into it. She's already positioned to help us get beta testers and even our first few clients. Our ask is $500,000 as an initial funding round. We will also be applying to NOHFC and FedNor grants in addition to this. This is about an 18-month runway for us. But money is not enough. We also need strategic partners. We want people with good connections in these industries to help us really propel the company forward and get some early market traction. We also want quality talent on our team, and we hope that our partnered investors will be able to help us bring that talent on board. The results so far, we already have a minimal viable product. We can in fact start selling this tomorrow, but it is a minimal viable product. Although the functionality is there, the quality that we want to see in the market isn't. So that's why we're going to be focusing on getting that developer team right away and really polishing things to get a release in year 1. As we grow, we will also be creating jobs not only in Sudbury, but in additional territories that we launch as well. Our focus for the first 3 years is on steady growth, on new customer acquisition, and really getting established in the market. And with that, I'll conclude. Thank you very much. Thank you to NORCAT for allowing me the opportunity to share SafePoint with you, and to you, the judges, for your expertise and your time. And for the audience, thank you very much for being so captivating and wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that presentation. You've obviously worked very hard on it, so congratulations. That was very well done.
Oh, thank you.
Could you talk a little bit about the delta, the difference between what you've got today as a minimum viable product and the state of the AI as you'd like to see it? What will that artificial intelligence do when this thing is fully functional, and what are the technical hurdles to get there?
So the missing piece right now for, I'm gonna shoot this as two separate pieces, the premium service and the self-serving app. So for premium services, the only part we're missing is really the user interface. So I expect this to take maybe a few months of developer time because it's really in the end a mobile application to control an API. On the other side, for the self-serve application, that's a little bit more complex. I still only see 6 to 8 month window to really get that polished and out in the market because most of the hard work's already done. The algorithm's already complete. It's really just getting the API to function properly.
So if I understand this correctly, if I'm going to pass away and I know what's going to happen, I can spontaneously record things. And is the AI searching that natural language audio files for keywords such that when my friends and so on, when I'm gone, ask questions, it will find the relevant audio file? What's that link? What's that indexing look like?
So once you have the recordings, at the beginning of the service side, it'll be staff that's making that connection with the AI to tell it which keywords to connect with. Once we get to the self-serve application, that'll become an automated feature, and it'll be based on the idea that you'll tell the app which question you're answering. So when you make your recording, you're saying, this is the question I would have been asked, and this is my answer, and therefore that API will be able to connect to the proper keywords.
All right, thanks for the presentation. My first question revolves around maybe helping me to understand how valuable or whether consumers would value such interactive service. So in the pamphlet, I think you note that competition is time capsule videos, cloud storage vault. So essentially all the content is stored in one location. You can access it on your own time. But the biggest differentiation here is the fact that it's interactive. I can talk to my Siri, I can ask it, how do I make this person's recipe? And it'll tell me. So can you tell me more about maybe the work you may have done or work that you will do to prove that this is a piece that's valuable, the interactive piece?
Sure. So the way I see it, it's going to be coming through just getting that market validation, right? So I'm already connected with Funeral Home with Simple Wishes. They've agreed to help me get those beta testers and really see if there's a market for this. If people that are doing things like pre-planning, if they really want this kind of service on that end. On the other side, with you've the deaf doula side and the griever side, we on Dragonfly Advisory is the word I'm looking for. On Dragonfly Advisory, be able to help me on the other side of things, connecting with people that know that they're about to die, and can really see if they're willing to pay into the beta or really pay into being those first few clients. So in the beginning, it will be a little slow. I'll be mostly working on my own, trying to get that market validation.
And I guess my second question is maybe from my understanding of the business model, it sounds like it starts with a one-time fee of $1,800 to bring a professional sound crew to properly record all the audio, all the content that you want to save there. And there's also a subscription piece. So do you see a scenario where the loved one who is accessing this database, interacting with the content, is there a risk where, let's say after 6 months, they've seen all the content, they've heard everything they need to hear, would they just stop subscribing to the business? Because I would imagine in that $1,800, a professional sound crew and their equipment would be fairly expensive. So where's the margin really coming from in this business? And do you see churn to be a significant risk?
The $1,800 has a pretty good markup. I based it off a very detailed cost estimation based on the fact that we're using our own staff to record. We're buying equipment, so I've calculated the cost of use of equipment, wear and tear. I've kind of generated a more likely worst case scenario where you can't do it all in 1 or 2 visits. It's more like 4 or 5, so I included travel time, gas expenses, things like that. In the end, all of those costs are fairly small compared to the price we're charging. There's a fair enough margin there to let us really capture that value and reinvest it towards the development of the company. And to the other question, yes, you're right. Eventually, someone could theoretically go through the entire app, right? But I think you'll find that people will be reluctant to stop paying to hear their mom's voice. There's an emotional attachment here that will really help propel this app longer term than I think if it was just some novelty piece. And the other side of it is something I didn't get a chance to get into in the presentation, but we record multiple answers for specific questions. So there is some replayability in this where you can ask the same question multiple times and get different answers.
So I have two questions. So that's great presentation. So just from the remember self-service model, revenue model, just if I'm just looking from being a consumer, you mentioned about the $6.99 to do on your own, and then the $3.99 per user. I'm just thinking from a user perspective. Let's say if I have my mom and my dad and me and my brother, who is paying what between the $6.99 and the $3.99?
All right, the $6.99 is in order to record. So the time it takes you to record, you would pay that $6.99 subscription. The longer you make the recording, the more often you do it, the richer the experience will be for the end user. So there's a value in doing it long term. The $3.99 is for the user. Basically, that's the goal we're trying to reach with a user fee, but typically that's prepaid by the client. So if you know you're about to die, you would do it as like a gift to your family. And that's the way we're sort of packaging it. So even on the self-serve side, they'll be able to prepay for those loved ones to access their memories for a certain amount of time. After a 2-year period, maybe the novelty wears off. At that point, it will be up to the user themselves to subscribe or choose to no longer have the service.
Mm-hmm. So what are you planning to do to prevent, let's say, any user from recording that information into other platforms?
There's nothing really preventing it. We're just focusing on providing the best user experience possible and really being first to market in this kind of world so that we can have that established brand and really have hopefully the loyalty from the work we're doing.
Okay. And my last question is just around the competition. You mentioned a few competitors there. Do you know how they're doing?
Yeah, so Safe Beyond has done really well. They've raised about 1.5 million out of Tel Aviv. So they've become quite established, and they're really focused on that video time release aspect of things. So most of the other ones are self-funded, so it's a little hard to get numbers out of them, but they've been established for several years. I have seen some kind of go on the wayside, but they typically had a very weak business model, and they weren't really differentiating in any particular way.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll make one quick suggestion before we move on. The suggestion is I actually don't know what the market uptake on this would be. I have no way of judging that. Obviously, there's some good ideas in it. I think the presentation and the pitch and value to investors would become crystal clear if you had beta testing done, at least on some mock-up, so you could have real-world testimonials. I think that would really bring this to life, and it would eliminate the gap between trying to figure out if this is an idea that I would like or my mom would like or whatever, which is hard to actually visualize, deeply personal and so on, and actually have some early customer commentary on kind of a mock-up that you did for free or something. It's just a way to really make this thing function.
I agree completely. And that is something we're working on. I'm hoping to have some beta testing done in the next 30 days. So we'll have some early case studies at least. Long term, it'd be great to have that case study follow with the family and see how they're reacting with the product as well. But short term, at least we'll have the recordings done pretty soon.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
You too.